This is Watching with WANE.
Welcome back to Watching with WANE. We're back after a 1 week hiatus. Last week I was sick alongside seemingly the rest of the world. It's been a rough March. I guess we're now into April, which is crazy. And as you can see, we're a little short staffed. We tried doing this show in the morning, ran into some technical difficulties, and then Logan is just out sick as well. But we have Lydia for today's episode. She will be more than enough. She's an avid Harry Potter fan, and we're going to be getting into the new trailer that HBO dropped for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, a new show that's just rehashing the iconic tale. Still not too many. We'll get into it, but it doesn't seem like there's too many details out yet, even with this trailer. They're keeping it pretty well under wraps. We're obviously going to get into Survivor. With Logan not here, we'll make sure to mess with her, and she is first in the standings, as we'll get into. So I guess we can't mess with her too much. But
all the more reason to.
Well, yeah, we'll see. She's getting some lucky votes. I guess we can just kind of get right in it. We'll pull it up the standings here. So from 1st to 10th. We have, forgot to put it up on the big screen here. Give me a second. We have Logan first, and she has given herself a pretty decent lead here.
Yeah. I was rooting for her when she wasn't at number 1 yet.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted Logan to be higher up there than Clayton because of all the trash talk. But now that she's up there, she's had a couple weeks at the top, I think. So it's maybe time to knock her down a little bit.
Well, yeah, we can actually, this is actually one of the nice things about the website is we can see what it was from the beginning. So, yeah, week 1, Logan was last behind everybody. The so-called Survivor fanatic expert.
This is the point in the episode where she would like to clarify that identity and say that she was a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Phoenix rising from the ashes, yep. And then when she was 5th after week 2, or episode 2, was still behind me, of course, and then snuck just, maybe not. No, she was only a few points ahead.
It was still a pretty tight race by week 3 in terms of the total points everybody had.
Yeah. And Shane was still first, and then going into episode 4, Logan took the top spot. Or I guess following episode 4, I should say. Shane dropped, and then he lost his sole survivor.
As did Logan.
Yes, as did Logan, Charlie Davis, who was voted out in episode 5. And so now they have new sole survivors. Still don't really fully understand how, the points work for the sole survivor.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Charlie was not one of her. No, it was not. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
But it was for Shane. Oh, no. Okay, he lost Q. That's right.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm still a bit confused on how the draft has worked with, the snake draft, the way that we got to pick our people, but how that's different than the Soul Survivor and how that affects the points. So.
Yeah, because here, let me show it. On the monitor capture. So yeah, my Soul Survivor is Coach, and so it shows he has 5 out of 13 points. But then I assume that if I guess what confuses me the most, it seems like, say Coach is one of the last 2 people on the show and got voted out. To me, it seems like I would get 0 points. Because I guess it won't show anymore, I think, since...
You mean 0 points added, or you would get...
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because it seemed that way. It probably won't show anymore since Logan and Shane have changed their Soul Survivor.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shane changed it to Coach.
Now,
yeah, it shows 0 out of 8 bonus points.
That's interesting because, he didn't get...
So, yeah, he got no points for
Right.
Shane, or Charlie, excuse me, lasting... any weeks. So I guess I'm a little confused about that part. Maybe when Logan's on next week,
she knows the ins and outs of all of this, but it has been really fun to try to predict who's going to get voted out. I've been enjoying watching it. This is my first season watching Survivor, but I'm really hooked in this competition with with my coworkers and my friends. Like, I almost just want to keep watching future seasons just so that I can give myself a leg up in future drafts and get more familiar with these players and how this game works.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the one thing that's really set Logan apart so far is if you look at the voting points, she is far and away first in the voting points. And granted, she's not the only one who has watched Survivor in the past. I know Taylor, Shane, Alyssa Ivinson has as well. So that's not necessarily an indicator of voting points, but clearly she has just been on it. I mean, she has 17. There's only 3 others with double digits, and they're 10 or 11. So that has definitely been the thing that's put her ahead the most. Her 2 people have done pretty well, too. Chrissy and Joe, 42 points between the 2 of them. So that's the thing that's killed me. His coach has been doing his thing, but Ozzy and the rest of his tribe have just been worthless, hardly.
Yeah.
They're losing people every week.
Yeah, that's rough.
So, well, you mentioned that you have kind of a little bit of a episode recap, the most recent one, as well as maybe even some notes from Lydia or Logan herself. So, why don't we get into that?
I did not grab the notes from Logan. I don't think I would be able to do them justice because she put so much enthusiasm into it. So sorry, Logan, you put a lot of effort into those notes, I'm sure, but you shouldn't have been sick. So I was just typing out notes as I was watching the episode. And this is going to be much more succinct than it normally is. So at the end, spoiler alert, Charlie and Angelina were the 2 who got voted out. So I think because of the way the challenge was set up, it was the 2 losing tribes who would go to council that night rather than just the one tribe. So double the chances to earn a bunch of points in the draft, but 2 more people going home. So that was Charlie and Angelina. And Charlie was the one who had some ongoing beef with Rizzo, who was the one who had just played on Survivor last season. And there was only like a few days gap between the time he ended that season and started Survivor 50. But Charlie was very upset with Rizzo and wanted him gone because he found out he didn't like a tactic that Rizzo had with his teammates in his former season, and Charlie had some trauma from something similar happening to him in one of his previous seasons. So if you know Survivor, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm sorry. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It didn't to me either, so that's what we're working with. One thing that I want to note is that my 2 people that were picked in my draft were Jonathan and Suri. Suri is my sole survivor. Love her. And Jonathan said in this episode that Suri is dangerous. That is the word he used to describe her. So I was excited because that, on the one hand, validates my choosing her, but also could come back to bite me and anyone else who's rooting for her, because if she's a threat and he can get people to rally around him and vote her out, then that's a dangerous threat that is eliminated in the game. So I'm really hoping that she sticks around. I want to see more from her, not just because she's my sole survivor, but there are several people on this season who I just haven't seen much from yet, and she's one of them, and it's making me harder to choose my votes every week because there's only, to me, it seems like there's only a few people who continually get highlighted.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's hard to do when there are so many players, but...
Yeah. And speaking of the sole survivors, now we're kind of in a logjam position here where so many people have the same one. Adam Solarzik, already had coach, and now Shane's got coach as a sole survivor. 2 people have Aubrey, which were Hannah and now Logan. 2 people have Colby. And then you mentioned Suri, and then Rick Devins, and then Camilla.
I like Camilla a lot, by the way. We got to see some more from her in this past episode, and she's just smart. It might have been Christian or somebody who was trying to lie to her face about something. It might have been Rizzo. I don't remember who it was, but she acted in the moment like she believed them, and then in her confessional, she was like, I'm just trying to play it smart, and I'm going to take everything they say with a grain of salt. So I was proud of her for that because I did not want her to fall into a trap that could have made it a tough spot for her this week. So,
yeah, if there's anybody I want voted out, it's Christian. Just the few clips I've seen of this guy, he just seems a little shady. I don't know. And he soiled himself in, what was that, episode 2 or 3?
Yeah, maybe that's a foreshadowing of what's to come with his future on Survivor.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, he's kind of hilarious to me, but very obnoxious. I don't think I would enjoy playing alongside him because I would not be able to trust a thing he says. For Clayton's Sole Survivor coach, he had some interesting moments in the first few minutes of the episode. He is all about this Zen personality that he has and wants to make a good impression on everybody. So you see several minutes of him taking people under his wing and giving them nicknames and trying to boost morale and be the good guy that everybody likes. I personally think that's going to backfire on him.
Yeah, I'll admit, if it weren't for me wanting to mess with Logan so much and having Coach as one of my 2 picks in my Soul Survivor, I don't think I'd really like Coach either. That just seems like a little over the top. Maybe that really is just his personality, but for now, I'm Team Coach. So we need him to do, especially since, like I said, Ozzy isn't doing much in his tribe. So I'll be interested to see. Do you have any predictions, I guess, for kind of how you think tonight will shape up? I don't know if, 5 episodes in at this point, if maybe things are starting to seem more, I don't know if predictable is the right word because obviously it wouldn't be good television if it was predictable reality TV. But what are you maybe thinking heading into tonight's episode?
Well, it's more of what I think is not going to happen. So the tribe that has been continually going to tribal council, I think that there's just no way they will end up at tribal tonight. One, because, it's reality TV, and it's part of it, I think, is a little rigged, if I'm allowed to say that. So I feel like it would just be too repetitive to have them go back to tribal. Whatever twist would occur to make that not happen if they were really still going to go. I've heard whisperings that something is going to happen in this episode that has never happened in the history of Survivor.
Oh.
So maybe that's the amount of times that this one tribe has gone to council or something else. I really don't know. Maybe it's the amount of people that are going to be voted out tonight. I don't know.
Yeah. And I guess one thing, this is where Logan could probably tell us if she was here, but she's not, is if, like you said, maybe Vatu keeps on getting more people voted out and there's only, one person. I assume there will be a point that they would just, merge into another tribe.
Oh, actually, yeah. I think that's happening this episode. I think they're getting rid of tribes and
okay. I mean, they about have to. Episode. Otherwise, Ozzy or whoever, hoping it's Ozzy, would just be a one-man show. And so I don't even know how that works. I know a lot of the games and challenges they do are obviously team-based. So
Alyssa Ivanson, who's also a faithful Survivor watcher, she did a great job of explaining this to me yesterday and breaking down how that works at this point in the game with them splitting up. But I'm not going to try to re-explain it because I will butcher it. So, yes, I think they will all be kind of just in a blob now instead of split up.
Yeah. So, like I said, we have Logan starting to take kind of a commanding lead, a 10-point lead over Taylor King, who's in second place. Shane in third. Me not super far behind them, but Logan, we can't let her get a commanding lead. Otherwise, we may never be able to talk about Survivor on Watching with Wayne ever again. But
that's right.
We'll see how that goes. Moving on, we're going to do something that I've heard my predecessor did a few times. I did have it pulled up. Mr. Mike Zanetti, which is get a little trailer going. So I thought maybe that was what I didn't have pulled up. But we're going to watch the Harry Potter trailer. We watched it together for the first time this morning, thinking that, like I said, we were planning on recording this in the morning.
Yeah.
Some stuff didn't pan out. Do you want to hit the
hit the lights?
Yeah. We'll get the sky cam going.
Should I just dim it, or you want it all the way down?
I think that's fine. I think that's fine. We'll full screen it. HBO, sorry if you do not approve of this. Yeah. Okay.
I told you. You are a new boy. And you're going to start acting like one.
Ugh, it makes me so sad.
You think you're something special? There is nothing special about you. I've always wanted to know about my parents.
Your parents were the kindest, bravest people I ever met. They were funny and clever. They stood up for what they believed was right. The next time I see you, we'll be in Hogwarts.
So magical.
I will say, the set pieces look really, really good. I think it's one of the biggest
I
takeaways.
think we can expect great things from you. Let's see who you are.
Are you really Harry Potter?
Ugh, gives me chills.
Christmas 2026.
I'll go turn the lights
Yeah.
back up.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess I really haven't seen much online discourse about how people feel about the trailer. I'm sure there's a ton that are breaking down and a whole bunch of Easter eggs and stuff like that. So I watched all the movies like when they were coming out in real time as a kid, but it's been quite a while. So definitely enjoy the movies, but definitely wouldn't say I'm like a super, super avid fan, which is what we have Lydia Ruel for. She is all that and more. I guess first, I just want to kind of hear your initial thoughts on the trailer and what you're thinking.
I surprised myself. I did not think that I was really going to care about this remake. I have not cared about most of the remakes that have been happening over the last 5-10 years, but I feel like there's enough distance between the original and this one to make it worth it for a whole new generation to watch this and be able to feel all the magic and comfort that we did with the original. So I loved it. I had really not looked too much into this. So getting to see the teaser definitely, like I said, it gave me chills because it seems like they've done a really great job with the casting. I don't recognize most all of the cast, and maybe that's just me being ignorant, or maybe they did that on purpose to try to really just stick to the focus of the characters themselves and not attaching a bunch of famous faces to it. I'm very excited for the 3 kids who are going to be Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Seems like, just judging from this one teaser trailer, seems like they have a lot of chemistry and are going to really bring the spirit of Harry Potter to the show. So that brings me a lot of joy to know that we're going to be able to watch this on Christmas, which is so fitting for the spirit of the first couple movies, really the first one especially. I know it's on a lot of people's watch lists for a Christmas viewing. And yeah, just based on my first watch or two of this teaser, is definitely something that I'm going to be having to subscribe to HBO Max to watch.
Yeah, no, like you said, I think it was good to hire relatively a new cast, which I guess I would have to do research, but I assume at the time the first movie came out, that Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson were definitely not what they are now. Now, a lot of the older characters in that movie, it's like Alan Rickman. I'm blanking on the name. Who plays the main woman professor?
Professor McGonagall.
Yes, I'm blanking on her name, but I know she was a very, very famous actress with a lot of
Maggie
success.
Smith.
Yes, yeah. And then I know Dumbledore had two different actors across those movies.
At first, it was Richard. Can't think of his last name. I hate that. Rest in peace. And then Michael Gambon after him.
Yeah. That was sad, too. When I was doing research, I saw that, Alan Rickman, I know, recently passed away. Maggie Smith has since passed. I'm blanking on the guy who played Hagrid, but he has passed away. Yeah, both Dumbledore actors. But yeah, and then I think Ralph Fiennes had some acting experience prior. But either way, like it was a good mix, I think, of like newcomers and then vets leading the way. So like you said, I think having pretty much just a blank slate cast for this one is good. I mean, we were talking about before the show, Dominic McLaughlin, who is playing Harry Potter, doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Boy, is that about to change.
I think the one thing that worries me, and this is coming from somebody who specifically is not the biggest fan of movie remakes, even with music, not the biggest fan of covers. If you were to do a list of the top 10 best movie castings of all time, I think the Harry Potter franchise would have to be like up there.
100%.
I mean, probably top 5.
Yes.
Alan Rickman as Snape, the guy who plays Hagrid, Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter. Honestly, the main 3, I'm blanking on who plays Ron Weasley.
Rupert Grint.
Okay, yeah. All 3 are really, really good. Even some of the side characters, like whoever plays Draco Malfoy. I mean, people still meme, how he says Potter. Like it's such an accentuation. Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort is so good. It's one of the best villain portrayals of all time. So these people definitely have big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I think it was probably intentional too to not even show. I think it'll be a long time before we see what Voldemort turns out to look like. Even the way that it appears in the Philosopher's Stone. I think that'll probably be left as a surprise until the very last second, which I hadn't even gotten that far to think about that. But I can't imagine Voldemort any differently than he was in the original. And obviously it's based on his description in the books, but I just can't imagine like anybody else embodying that. So,
And I'm trying to think, as something I didn't, like I said, just thought of now. I know at the end of Philosopher's Stone, there's the evil professor who has Voldemort like in the back of his head. And I can kind of picture it's like not really the best CGI in the world. Obviously, the movies.
That's what makes it even better.
But I'm trying to think: does Ralph play Voldemort in that, or is it somebody else?
I don't know. I'm sure it's based off of his. I assumed that he was already cast as Voldemort, and maybe they did use like his face to help with that CGI. I would love to do a deep dive on that because I am very interested in how that all worked. He definitely looked quite a bit different on the back of Professor Quirrell's head. But
I'm looking at it right now. And then also, I guess I don't know if you know. Do you know why? Like it's the Philosopher's Stone, some Sorcerer's Stone. Do you know what the?
Yeah. So everywhere except the U.S., it's Philosopher's Stone.
Okay. And the book was called Philosopher's Stone, right?
Yes, and U.S. copies are Sorcerer's Stone, and in the UK it's Philosopher's Stone. I had seen somewhere recently. I had not heard any of the cast say this, so I'm not sure if it's true. I think it is that they even filmed saying Sorcerer's and Philosopher's Stone. They filmed it both ways. So in Europe, it was Philosopher's Stone, and probably everywhere else. And for the U.S. release, it was Sorcerer's Stone. I don't know why that made such a big difference. And yeah, there's some questions I still have there. But yeah, for the HBO series, all around. It's going to be called Philosopher's Stone. And just to break down a little bit what we can expect out of it, it is being released on Christmas Day, as the trailer said. And it's my understanding that all 8 episodes of Philosopher's Stone will be released on Christmas. I could be wrong about that. I didn't have much time to do a deep dive, but just in the Googling that I did, it didn't really confirm if all the episodes will be available immediately. But the series in general has been deemed a decade-long adaptation.
Oh, wow.
So if they're taking that much time to really dive into the universe, I am really excited to see how much more faithful they can be to the books than a lot of the later Harry Potter movies turned out to be in the original series.
Okay, yeah, because there would be 7 books then, right?
Yeah, 7
because
books.
they split Deathly Hallows into 2. Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
interesting. Also, I looked up, so the actor Ian Hart, who plays Professor Quirrell in the first movie, voices Voldemort. Oh. And then another guy named Richard Bremer provides his physical appearance.
Interesting. I'm glad we cleared that up.
So, yeah. I guess we can kind of, or I'll leave it up to you. I don't know if you would rather, before you do like the movie rankings, if you want to talk about kind of some of the differences between the books and the movies, and kind of.
Sure.
I don't know if there are any better maybe changes. I feel like usually there's not when it comes to that.
Right.
But yeah, kind of just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so my teenage self would be disappointed in my memory. I used to really know like everything inside and out about the plot of the books compared to the movies and all the flaws of the movies, and I still loved them, but I would, critique them as a lover of the books. So yeah, that kind of goes hand in hand with why my ranking is what it is for the 8 movies that we know and love. As far as things that they did well compared to the books, like we already talked about, the casting is just spot on. And for me, like, I was very young when the movies started coming out, so it wasn't until I was a teenager that I read all the books all the way through. I had read the first several, but because I had seen a lot of the movies first, that definitely also shaped my perspective. So maybe for people who were really like hardcore about the first couple books, or however many were released before the first movie came out, they probably had a more critical eye. But yeah, the cast is so well loved, and just the music. The music is incredible in the series. It really captures, like I would listen to the music in the background as I was reading the books. And yeah, I think overall the original series did a great job of capturing the magic of Hogwarts and everything that it's painted to be in the books. But maybe once I share my ranking, I'll be able to back up a little bit why my answers are what they are.
Okay, well, I think that's the perfect segue. Why don't we just get right into it? Like I said, I'm sure this is something you've... I guess I'd be interested here. Do you think your ranking has changed over time, or do you feel like it's been pretty set since, watching? I know you said it's some of the most common rewatches for you, but...
Yeah, I think it has pretty much stayed the same. But I plan on rereading the books here soon. So I am open to my mind changing as an adult. It'll be the first time that I'm reading them all through as an adult. So, a lot of the earlier movies are both more lighthearted, and because the books are shorter, they're able to stick to the plot points a little more. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, if you want to go worst to best.
Worst to best.
I assume there's no worst or even a bad movie in the...
Yeah.
Unless you're counting a Fantastic Beasts.
Ooh, whoa, okay. Yeah, no, those
that's a separate show for another day.
Over well. That is a separate show for another day. Before I start, are you going to have a ranking too?
Well, like I said, like we were talking about before, it's just been so long since I've seen all of them, and so the ones that I didn't watch the most, like I said, Chamber of Secrets or The Phoenix, I just don't know if I could properly properly talk about them. So
Okay.
I will say my favorite's probably Chamber of Secrets. So,
All right.
But
Love. That's a great
yeah.
choice.
So I'll probably have
So-
some input after your list, but
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So from worst to best, I would say the worst movie from the original series is Goblet of Fire. That is the 4th book, and I think that is an opinion that is widely shared. The 4th book is the first in the series that is as big as it is. I'm off the top of my head, it's got to be like over 500 pages, maybe. And Prisoner of Azkaban is like less than 300. So there's a lot more content in Goblet of Fire, and it's very action-based with the Triwizard Tournament happening at Hogwarts, and there is so much going on. So I'm going to give the filmmakers some grace for that. There is so much going on in the book that it's impossible to capture all of it on screen, but I've also heard the argument that Deathly Hallows did not even need to be split up into 2 parts for a movie, and they should have done that for Goblet of Fire instead.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, the other main reason that I know a lot of people agree with me on, I think everybody who has read Harry Potter agrees with me on, as much as I love Michael Gambon, and you know what? I'm not going to blame him. Anybody could have stopped this. There is one of the most iconic lines in the book is when Dumbledore finds out that Harry's name was put in the Goblet of Fire, which determines who is competing in this tournament. The goblet chooses it for you. But in the book, Dumbledore is very calm, very level-headed, and he quietly says to Harry, "Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" Not trying to cause a scene, not trying to be drama. But in the movie, it is the most dramatic scene. Dumbledore blows up and he yells. It's like, "Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" And he's like tackling him. And it's like, chill out. This is a child. He's actually like 13. Can we chill out? 14. But still. So that one line, it really just damages the credibility a little bit of Dumbledore. And as an adult, looking back on the books, there is definitely a debate to be had about how morally sound Dumbledore even was to begin with. But specifically for that moment, anybody would just criticize that as being such a stark difference for no reason from the book. They didn't have to change that. It literally, I guess they just thought it was more exciting on screen. But anyway, so that is why Goblet is at the bottom for me. And then 6th and 7th place would go to Deathly Hallows Parts 1 and 2. And it's not really a critique of how the films were made compared to the book, more so just that they're so dark. There's some really good moments, and the moments I enjoy of those movies I really love, but those are not the ones that I go back and watch frequently at all. However, I will say my favorite scene of the series is in Deathly Hallows Part 1. There is a scene where in the middle of the search for the Horcruxes, Harry and Hermione are set up in a tent, and I think it's around Christmas time still at that point, and they're just really depressed, missing their families, having to be in hiding to stay safe and trying to hunt down these Horcruxes and take down Voldemort. And they basically have the weight of the world on their shoulders. And so there's a nice little scene that lasts less than 2 minutes of them just dancing together in the tent. Just 2 friends, just comforting each other in a very dark time in their lives. And so it's one of the bright moments in Deathly Hallows Part 1. There's a lot of death other than that.
Yeah, like I said, that's probably the one I remember the least of.
Yeah.
Goblet of Fire, though, I like a lot of. Now, like you said, even as a kid, I remember that kind of being the first movie where you definitely feel the tone shift and start getting, which I guess makes sense because that's the movie where Voldemort officially returns. spoiler alert, people, the first movie came out in 2001. What are you doing? It's Harry Potter.
It's Harry Potter.
Everybody knows Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Robert Pattinson's character dying at the end. Yeah. Honestly, I think the whole ending of that movie, like you said, this is maybe just a guy versus girl thing. I love the end of that movie. Like I said, Ralph Fiennes. I mean, that is just one of the best portrayals of any character ever. He is so good as Voldemort, and so his entrance. And I can't even remember who's the guy. I know he was the rat in Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah,
he helps bring back Voldemort. He's just good too, just being a slime ball.
That's it.
Yeah, and then it's sad too when they get transferred back, and Robert Pattinson's character's dad sees him.
It's devastating.
Like, look what you done to my boy.
Yeah, it's not just
so
sad.
Good.
It's devastating.
It is sad, but it's good. It's a good acting. It's a good.
It's
movie.
good acting. Yes.
And then Deathly Hallows, like sort of other than the Elder Wand stuff, I don't remember much of that. So, do you feel, I guess, that you think Deathly Hallows should have just been one movie, or?
Honestly, yeah, but
Okay.
I don't have a strong opinion on that because I would have loved if the original had been done as a longer TV series, really focused on like each chapter or each big point in the book. I would love to see 100 hours of Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint on screen, like moving through their time at Hogwarts together. So I could make the argument that any one of those movies could be split up. So I'm sure if they had condensed Deathly Hallows into one, there would be more complaints about even more stuff that was left out. But I think a lot of people just think that it spent too much time on parts that weren't as important compared to other films like Goblet of Fire that just stuff was completely skipped over.
Yeah.
But landing in the middle of my list would be Half-Blood Prince. That's the 6th installment in the books, and like it's great. It's definitely another like sad one. It's in the darker half of the series, and Dumbledore dies, and didn't even bother to say spoiler for that. We're not. This is the show.
So we
don't
need
to do.
it.
Yeah,
it's Harry Potter.
Yeah. So there's a lot of nuance in that film and that storyline, and it's more good acting. It's just not one that I would go back to very often because I'm not very eager to see all that death once again. And then in front of that is going to be Order of the Phoenix. In my younger years, that might have even been ranked much closer to the bottom because of the fact that that's when Sirius Black dies. Right at the very end, Bellatrix Lestrange runs around saying, "I killed Sirius Black," and it's like the most... It's just gut-wrenching, more so than the death of Dumbledore or almost any character for me except for, like, Dobby in Deathly Hallows and a couple others.
See, I don't remember that at all. When I think of Order of the Phoenix, I just think of Dolores Umbridge.
Well...
That is, like, that also might be one of the greatest, like, villain portrayals. She kills that role as somebody you just love to hate.
Yeah, and I just hate to hate her. Like, I... cannot it is also a popular opinion that I share that I hate her worse than Voldemort. 1000%. Like, she is so just disgustingly like evil and aggravating. Like, sometimes she's just annoying. Like, she takes kill him with kindness to the utmost extreme. And so there's a lot of annoyance with that movie, which is purely just the content of the book played out on screen. So that's nice. And then my top 3 in third place is going to be Sorcerer's Stone. It's pretty much tied with my number 2. There's no real reason that it's all the way down in third place, but I do love it. Like, as an adult watching, it's easier to see them just as little kids. But when I was watching it as a kid, these guys were older than me, so I wasn't understanding that layer of, like, oh, this is about to be a really dark, like, unsafe school for these kiddos to be in. And And so that's another thing I'm looking forward to about the HBO series is really understanding more of their perspective of their actual children. And I was not really seeing it that way the first time that I watched the original. So, yeah, Sorcerer's Stone is great, and every line is just stuck in my memory. And then same with Chamber of Secrets, my second pick here. That's like one of my first core memories as a kid is like trying to peek over the couch while my dad was watching Chamber of Secrets, and it was a little too dark for me as like a 4-year-old. So yeah, definitely enjoyed all the mystery surrounding what's going on, what's causing the kids to like basically get ill and stuff that's happening at the school, kind of having to crack the code and solve the mystery. And then in first place is always going to be Prisoner of Azkaban. It's my favorite book in the series and my favorite film. Like I've already said about most of the others, it really just captures the magic of Hogwarts. And like I think of the scene of Harry like flying with Buckbeak, the hippogriff, and he's like going all around the campus of Hogwarts, and so there's these beautiful shots of the castle and the lake and just him getting some freedom from all the darkness around him. And in terms of the storyline, it has the incredible plot twist where Sirius Black, who you at first think is, well, he's portrayed to be very evil, like one of the worst criminals of all time, locked up in Azkaban, and now he's on the loose. And then plot twist, he was framed and is not evil at all and is Harry's best ally and one of the only sane people in the series as an adult, like actually trying to make decisions that benefit Harry and not their own well-being. So that's a road that we don't have to go down, but I'm just going to set that there. So yeah, love Prisoner of
That's some
Azkaban.
Dumbledore shade?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, okay. So I thought it'd be interesting just to see. I was looking at a couple lists briefly while you were giving off yours because I don't know if there's generally like a consensus. For what I have seen, both like just Rotten Tomato scores and a whole bunch of other lists, it seems like people cannot agree on what they, and my guess is probably partly is that, like you said, there's just such a tonal shift from Azkaban to Goblet of Fire and then onward. I mean, like you said, you know, in the first movie, they're 10-year-old kids learning all this cool like magic stuff, and then like what I remember being younger is it the fifth or the sixth movie with the love potion, and then like it's almost like this teen like romance, even like some borderline angst. It's like, come on. So yeah, I guess some people probably prefer one or the other. Obviously, like you said, you prefer kind of the earlier era. So we'll kind of just read off this list from Rotten Tomatoes. At number 8 is, and they're all certified fresh, so not a single bad one. Number 8 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 at 76%. Actually, let's just get this pulled up here on the screen. Number 7 is Order of the Phoenix at 78%. I think the critic consensus little note here is interesting. It's not easy to take the longest Harry Potter book and streamline it into the shortest Harry Potter movie, but director David Yates does a bang-up job of it, creating an Order to the Phoenix that's entertaining and action-packed.
Okay, so that wasn't, I thought that was a jab at him. That's supposed to be a genuine compliment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 6 is Sorcerer's Stone at 80%.
Wait, that's at number 6?
Well, like I said, this is just a Rotten Tomato ranking.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I
and it's at, like I said, it's at 80%. Number 5 is Chamber of Secrets at 82. Number 4 is Half-Blood Prince at 83%. And these are all the critic scores. We can maybe look at the audience here in a second.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Goblet of Fire. Number 2, Goblet of Fire is at 88%, so a pretty big jump up from Half-Blood Prince. Number 2 is Prisoner of Azkaban at 90%, and number 1 is Deathly Hallows Part 2 at 96%.
Wow.
Yeah, 96%.
I did not expect that, to be honest.
Looking at the audience scores, Deathly Hallows Part 1 is 85%. These will not be it.
Are you going off of the order from worst to best again?
Yeah, so this will not be in order. Order of the Phoenix at 81%. Sorcerer's Stone is 82%.
So far, it's in the same order as the critics' reviews,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Chamber of Secrets is 80%. That's the first one with a lower audience than critic score. That movie is 2 hours and 41 minutes. I do not
Doesn't
remember
feel
that as a
like it.
kid.
It's
Yeah.
a wild ride.
Half-Blood Prince is 78%. So I think the highest so far has been Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Wow.
Unless I'm mistaken. Goblet of Fire, 74%. Wow.
I'm surprised it's that high.
Prisoner of Azkaban, 86%. I think that is now the highest. And then Deathly Hallows Part 2, 89%. So
Wow.
I guess people love the finale.
I guess so.
But yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, I watched them all as a kid, but it's just been so long that it would be tough for me to properly and accurately rank them all. But yeah, Chamber of Secrets and probably Order of the Phoenix are the two I remember the most. Like I said, Goblet of Fire, I think, has great scenes. There's a lot of good stuff in Deathly Hallows Part 2 as well, with like some of the fights. And that's where Snape dies, right? That's a crazy scene when the snake just mangles him.
Yeah, that is wild.
I'm sure that's one of your favorite scenes, though.
I have mixed feelings about Severus Snape.
Really? Well, let's hear it. This is the show for it.
Just that, like, he didn't need to do the most to hate on Harry just because he was in love with Harry's mom and Harry looks like his dad, James. Like, that's not, you don't punish a kid for that.
Well, wasn't it, I guess, like I said, long time since I've seen the movies, but wasn't it always supposed to be like more of like a tough love? Like he actually did care for Harry?
On the inside, but he wasn't like giving constructive criticism.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It was like kind of a tough love. Or like maybe,
sure.
like, that's just, like I said, 10-year-old, long time since I've seen the movies, remembrance of it.
And part of it was him putting on a mask to try to kind of be a spy, like in Voldemort's court, in his corner, trying to be able to feed back information. But Voldemort didn't know, like, how Harry was doing in the classroom. So Snape didn't have to be, like, doing all the stuff he was doing to humiliate Harry and essentially bully him at some points. So Snape was set up to have been able to be a huge ally to Harry, and he could have told him all these stories about what his parents were like, what his mom was like. And if Snape really loved Lily that much, then he would know how much she loved her child, so she would want him to be kind to her child. So, I mean, that's just a surface level argument. But then Harry didn't hold a grudge because he named part of one of his kids' names after Severus. So
there you go.
Yeah.
One of the few, like, I don't even know if you'd call this an Easter egg, but it's like hidden things you maybe wouldn't notice is whatever movie it is where he like briefly battles Professor McGonagall before he turns into is it a Dementor?
Wait, sorry. Who was fighting Professor
Snape.
McGonagall before he?
Like it's like a brief like wizard battle, and then he turns into it's a Dementor, right?
That's a thing. Yeah, I'm just blanking on the scene.
Yeah, basically it's a scene. Well, here I can we'll pull it up here quick. But basically, there's like two Death Eaters or whatever they're called behind him, and it looks like he's just deflecting McGonagall's shots, but really what he's doing is deflecting them into the Death Eaters.
Oh, that's so smart. I don't know why I'm not remembering this.
I'll pull it up here. I assume it's a short. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're exhausting.
I remember this shot.
Strategies. You still have a bit of a security problem, Headmaster.
This is Deathly Hallows
I'm
Part
afraid it's
2.
quite extensive. How dare you stand where he stood? Tell them how it happened that night.
Oh, how could I forget
Tell
this
them how
part?
you looked him in the eye.
It's so
A man
iconic.
who trusted you.
Oh, he talks about
and
killing
killed him.
Dumbledore.
Tell them.
Yeah.
McGonagall is so goated.
Yeah, but watch. He deflects it. Yeah, so apparently those were like 2 Death Eaters behind him. So a lot of people say that he did that on purpose just to like still help, but I don't know.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I
So
love that.
yeah, iconic movies.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, the show will air on Christmas. I guess it, like you said, there's still kind of a lot of stuff under wraps, so I don't know if they're gonna have the entire season or how they're gonna disperse episodes, but should be interesting. I think the 2 I'll be interested to see the most, based on the trailer, the ones that kind of are the most jarring to me casting is the new guy playing Hagrid, and I know Hagrid's like truly one of the most iconic ones from the original movie, so that's a tough one. And then I'll admit the kid playing Harry.
Really?
Now I know. So what? He's 10 in the
It'll
first.
be 11. The whole thing is they get their Hogwarts letter when they turn 11.
When they're 11.
So.
Okay. So I get it. He's a young boy. He just looks like a little runt. I don't know.
Jeez.
He does. He kind of does. He just looks like really, really young.
He's supposed to, though, like, if I like just saying about how his character appears on screen, that is very faithful to the books because, like, he's malnourished, he's abused at his aunt and uncle's house. Yeah. So really, he would look like that.
Yeah, his Muggle family.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess they didn't even show even I remember as a kid his uncle is even just like obviously an evil guy, but he's kind of funny too.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I think he also passed away kind of recently.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for this. I really did enjoy the casting more than I thought I would. I actually thought Harry and Hagrid weren't as jarring as I expected them to be. Like, I'll just say it, Daniel Radcliffe was my first crush.
Oh,
so
wow.
Harry Potter was like, that's my type. So I had only been able to picture Harry Potter as Daniel Radcliffe, but seeing the new generation's Harry Potter, I think that that kid was very well picked. And if I cross my eyes a little bit, it doesn't look totally different. Same with Hagrid, especially like when they show like more of just his silhouette, his clothing, his hair. It really does look very similar to me as the original.
Well, I guess it's more the face.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think once we start actually watching it, it'll be easier to immerse ourselves into the story and not compare it so much to what we're used to.
Yeah. So, and like I said, I'm probably the wrong person to ask about that anyway, because I am usually pretty particular about that kind of stuff. But well, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. I assume Lydia, as soon as she gets off work, is going to go watch Sorcerer's Stone and catch up on all the movies before Christmas. I guess you have plenty of time, but
yes.
So yeah, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Watching the WANE. Like I said, a little short crew today, but I'm sure we'll have the full cast back. Hopefully Logan will be feeling better, and hopefully Hannah will be a little more dry. She was out in her noon live shot and got soaked in this never-ending rain this week. So for Lydia and I, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
This is Watching with Wayne.